idea of patients coming into ED. You're reaching out to the community, we're reaching out within the health system, getting patients moved through faster because it's the right thing to do, but it also helps you do the other things the hospital needs to do. Do you see payers in any way in this, a lot of the alternative payment models trying to find a model where you really find the value in keeping, patients out of the hospital and out of systems on a statewide scale or a system scale, and then benefiting from that, which would be, I think, tremendously valuable to help scale the telemedicine, because I think clearly there's a fear with insurers and states that, telemedicine, it's nice, it's easy, it's technology, you keep doing it, and does it, is it just extra cost and extra access points that don't deliver value, which is probably why there's a lot of fears with it.
So I'm going to let him answer, but I just want to say amen. Yeah, absolutely, that's where we should be going.
So I'll answer for models that I've seen working in the state of Tennessee. When I had all of Middle Tennessee, we're highly incentivized to keep people out of the hospital and have people come to us for our outpatient crisis centers and clinics, et cetera. And so the state, which is Medicare, Medicaid, recognized that to the point where they would actually give us extra money for case management, what we wanted to do, but we had to deliver. So you deliver by having no hospitalizations, no repeat hospitalizations. And we were always delivering on those numbers. So we had about a 3% hospitalization rate in community mental health center, which is ridiculously low, typically it's 20. But the agency found a way to get the state to recognize it. So the state recognizes it and says, we're going to save $50 by spending $10 here. Because hospitalizations is extremely expensive, and then they get into these medicine, et cetera. So I know in some community, I'm not sure where South Carolina is along that continuum, a little bit behind, but it's just a little, it's different. But I have seen it, and the payer I've seen to be the most responsive has been the state payer or the federal payer.
So that was with TennCare?
That was with TennCare and Medicare. So, yeah. So I know it's possible. Someone's got to pitch it, and someone's got to deliver. So you have to have someone that's actually able to show, put their money where their mouth is and not waste the money, right? And then show the results. And I have seen it work, but those are the most responsive payers I've seen. Everyone else just wants to stay hands off unless they have to. Like Obamacare comes and makes everybody pay a little bit, and then they back off as quickly as they can. For example, Mark can speak to some of this because he's talking to insurance companies a lot.
Yeah, they don't
Well,
want that.
I can't because there's 2 insurance companies that are here.
We love them.
No, they're good. They're
But
really good.
But it's the reality of where we are. I mean, it's problematic. We've gotten here kind of incrementally, but yeah, keeping people out of the hospital absolutely should be the goal. We have a lot of discussions, and I think we've lost a lot of momentum on this, but if you're going to be an ACO, that's exactly what you need to do. I have a colleague who's started a startup company, and they are basically going around the country looking to analyze hospital systems data and showing them what they can put in place and the money they would save if they were more proactive with mental health treatment. That's their whole business model, is just saying, here are your mental health needs based on all this data you gave us. Here's, if you integrate into your primary care and your specialty systems, here's the money you're going to save. And that's not even hospitalization. That's just, you take a patient who needs bypass surgery, and then you take a patient who needs bypass surgery who's depressed. And there's all this data out there that says that costs twice as much to treat that patient who's depressed, just to have that same procedure done.
Best advice, personally and medically, there's an increase in depression and anxiety in our country. We know that. It's going up. Most of the people in here are mental health or physical health treatment providers. What's your best advice? People start experiencing depression and anxiety, they usually go together. Medically, as well as personally, in what you've seen, and I know some of the things that you do, it's just like, wow, that makes a lot of sense, but nobody talks about it. Fish oil. What 5 to 10 best things you can do if somebody starts going through depression or start experiencing more anxiety in our culture?
Well, I would say, first of all, understand how you're living your life and look at those 5 enemies of mental health. I do believe seriously in those. If you're not taking the best care of yourself, then as a relatively insightful, educated person, that's one of them. Number 2, you need to talk about it. If you can talk about it with a significant other and try to understand where you are relatively, is this something serious or is this kind of the blues or, that kind of thing. And then don't be hesitant to talk about it with a primary care or a psychiatrist or a therapist. I mean, that is where the stigma needs to be brought down, and what's available is varies person by person. I see the most damage done with people that hold it in. They try to either normalize it or shove it and just make it through it. And then it just festers and gets worse and worse and worse. And that's what I don't like to see. Well, maybe if they could have at least normalized it by speaking about it to someone, gotten some treatment, considered an antidepressant, considered exercise official, and then an antidepressant if that didn't really make enough difference. But the biggest thing is to bring it out in its communication. So that's kind of my initial gut response to what you just said.
Yeah, so I'll tack onto that. And if we're talking kind of early stages, and not, depressed to the point where you're not functioning, I mean, at that point, you need to be in a setting with, good professional help, often medications, but especially early on. Don't write off therapy. Don't be afraid of the commitment to spend a half hour, an hour every few weeks or so with someone. And again, therapy is not just talk about your childhood and all that. That's out there and that could be helpful. But if you're depressed or anxious, and sit down with someone and do kind of this playbook therapy that's proven to work, we probably don't do it enough. We just want a pill and go home and feel better. The pills actually work really well, so that's fine. But then people don't want to take it long term and they stop it and they haven't really learned the tools to help stave it off when it comes again. So again, this doesn't apply to once it gets more severe, but especially early on, a little bit of therapy can go a long way. I think we're too quick to want the quick fix, which goes back, I think, to your 5 points too. We just want, can I just look at something on Facebook and feel better?
And have a
That's
feel.
not-
Mark, could I speak to your question from the healthcare side?
Yeah.
Get the PCPs to screen for depression.
Correct, yes.
Well, but also know what to do once they get a positive screen.
Right.
Yeah.
So you've got to have a referral system in place.
And that gets to the integrated care part. And you don't need a psychiatrist in every mental health clinic, in every primary care clinic, there needs to be some level of integration so the care is there, some level of care is there, so that patients don't have to go to another appointment when it probably took them 6 times to reschedule their primary care appointment because they didn't want to deal with it. Now they're going to blow off that mental health appointment. Let's get in there, let's treat. It's not terribly complex if we catch it early.
Well, I'd like to thank Dr. Kluwer for coming up to Trident to talk to us. It's been interesting, and thank you all for attending. We're always open to any ideas. We're here and we're very open, both individuals and services that we're working with. So that's all part of how things can get better, is being made aware of it and alternate solutions. So thanks again, and thanks for your time.
Thank you all.
All right. Hey.